Hello, everybody. My name is Belinda Chapman. I'm the host of the Compassionate Women's Health Community. I am interviewing Karen Anderson. Welcome, Karen. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for being here. Lovely to connect.
Yes, it's so good. So Karen's one of our wonderful members. And when I reached out recently to you all around what stories do you have in relation to your women's health and how it's affected your mental health? And Karen was one of the ladies that put her hand up to say, I have a story to share. From the 8th to the 16th of October is Queensland Mental Health Awareness. And I know that more broadly in October, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'm in Brisbane, I'm in Queensland. So I am specifically acknowledging Queensland Mental Health Awareness Week with this, kicking it off just a little bit earlier. But allow me to introduce Karen. So Karen is a mother to a beautiful 24-year-old woman who is a lawyer. Karen was born and raised in Germany and traveled the world modeling after leaving high school. She came to New Zealand, where she lives now, at the age of 24, but left in 2014 to move back to Germany after experiencing earthquakes and other traumatic experiences. This all happened through menopause when she was already at her lowest. And apart from the typical night sweats, headaches, she experienced other symptoms that I'll let her go into when she shares her story a little bit more broadly. She then went to the south of India working in an Ayurvedic resort and did a lot of soul searching. She found that true beauty comes within, and we are never too old to pivot. This is your life, make the most of it. Being miserable is not going to change it. Get out and ask for help always. So at 55, she started her online business as a certified face yoga instructor, helping women all over the world to feel and look the best version of themselves. I'm really, really interested to hear more about all these different aspects of you, Karen. So do you mind sharing? We've been talking, it's about how menopause has impacted your mental health. Do you mind sharing that story for us, please?
No, of course not. I'm more than happy to. Well, after, as I say, I was at my lowest anyway with everything that was going around me and having the typical symptoms. On top of that, I developed severe dermatitis. And with the dermatitis, it affected my eyebrows and my eyelashes, the roots of it. So I lost all my eyelashes and eyebrows. And that was kind of, for me, always being into the looking from the outside, outer beauty, a really, really hard thing. And I kind of thought in the beginning they will grow back and it will be all fine, but it never happened. So I searched for a lot of dermatologists, natural, holistic things, and I just couldn't find anyone that helped me. And there was one thing, losing the hair, but the dermatitis, it was just a nightmare. And it happened to be on my face and on my neck severely. And it was like a burning, scaling, and then the skin peeled all off, and then the whole cycle repeatedly again. And it went on for years and years. And
was it painful at the same time?
Very painful. When it started, it was like burning. Someone put a hot iron on your skin. Yeah. And it was actually coincidence. Years later, I found a zinc cream, like a baby zinc cream that I put on a flight, and that protected it really, really well. It's a bit drying, but it helped. So, which was amazing. For me, that was just like God's gift to the world. And it's unbelievable that we kind of think this is just a bit normal, to go through night sweats and all of that, but there can be so many other things. And I just think you just have to learn how to live with it. And it's difficult and it's hard. It's not easy. So go everywhere, trying to ask for help, get help, and don't let that stop you, because it's just so easy as we get older that we kind of think, well, we've had the best time of our lives. We look the best. So where are we going from here? And I just kind of think, work on your inside and on your mental health and your outlook together with meditation, affirmations, and take time out to really look after yourself, and that makes such a big difference. And then you radiate it out, and that's kind of what I'm trying to help women with, to say, well, you're never too old to be truly beautiful and to shine. So you can overcome these sort of things.
Yeah, definitely. So when you were, this is during your perimenopause phase, you were going through the normal menopausal symptoms. Were they able to make any correlation as to why menopause triggered dermatitis for you?
Not really, never heard of it. And so many dermatologists I went to, they just never heard about it. They didn't take it really seriously. That was another thing which I thought, oh my God, it's yes, it's not then the end of the world. It's not cancer, but from a woman's point of view, and always been interested in beauty and looks and outside, it's just, they didn't understand what it actually meant to have this happening. So I had very, very little support. And really no help. So I just learned to help myself and to kind of live with that and continue to kind of feel better, trying to eat the right food, trying not to aggravate it, and so on. And it still flares up occasionally. So I've lived with this now started in my early 40s, and I'm 57 now, and I still get it occasionally. Not as bad, luckily. But
it's interesting that you say that it wasn't taken seriously, because of that, like the way you related it just then was because it was seen as like this surface level thing, but it's a quality of life thing as well, isn't it? Like when you are in pain like that, and I know there are going to be so many women in the group that are going to relate on so many levels, that even if something appears to be just from that external looks perspective, it does go deeper than that. And so, as you say, like working from that inside out impacts it from that perspective. I'm interested from that, what was that mental shift? Because you say you had that history of traveling and modeling, and that your external presentation was really important to you. What was that point at which you had to kind of let that go and make that shift?
Yep, very good question. I think it was together with experiencing 2 earthquakes, very traumatic experiences. They're very, very close to my heart and absolutely left me really at my lowest. Then together with the skin, thinking, okay, if I can overcome all this and survive all this, then I can just do anything and just focus on feel the best version of yourself, Karen, because that's something to look forward and really appreciate what life has to offer, and keep on learning and growing, and that kind of thing. Get something you're really passionate about, something you really love, that excites you again and motivates you, and that will radiate out. I firmly believe that. So I think that's what it was, because I thought, no, and I can't change what has happened and what has actually happened, the aging process, but I can change my mental health, how I feel about it, and my outlook. And so that changed internally. Yeah, and India did that too. I think being in the south of India for a few months, the simplicity of the people and the way they made me welcome, and what I've learned and experienced, that just made it deep as well. Yeah.
It really cuts things back to the absolute basics and that absolute simplicity, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it gives you that different perspective and mindset.
Absolutely. Yes.
And what I'm hearing is just how phenomenal the human brain is to learn from traumatic experiences, and it sounds like there was this level of resilience there that you'd built up, that you could resolve that within yourself. Like you'd experienced, you weren't getting that support from the people that you were seeking in terms of your skin. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go and do this. And it's the same with so many of the women I've spoken to in these interviews. They just turn around and they're like, all right, I've got to do this myself. And
Yes.
when you think about it, from like, I do this exercise with my clients when we're talking about victim mode versus responsibility mode. It is so much more empowering when you go, all right, I'm going to take responsibility for this myself and make it happen.
Absolutely. And it's hard. It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, you know, and you go through a lot of stages where you kind of think, oh, God, this is just too hard. I'm getting too old, you know, really, I should be doing this all by myself. I should be more supportive and more, but at the end of it, it makes us stronger and makes us the people that who we are. And again, it's part of the story. You know, I wouldn't be me if I wouldn't have experienced all that. So,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, sorry, there was something you said in there that made me think of, but I've lost it now. So I'm sorry. I'm interested in, you know, out of all of this, you know, you shared some things. Is there anything you haven't shared that you would say was the biggest challenge you faced?
oh yeah, there's another big challenge. Only a couple of years ago, when I decided to start my business, my online business, and I didn't really even know how to post on Facebook, and kind of thinking, I'm going to do this because I found something I'm truly passionate about. I can do over the next decade or 2 decades, and I should really living in this world now be online. But I've got no idea how to do that. So that was, it still is, but I'm getting there. But it was a massive challenge, you know, kind of thinking, oh my God, where do I start? Yes, a whole new world, exactly. Especially if you haven't been brought up with that, you know, and just you are from that generation, you are getting older, and you kind of think, oh my God, you know. So yeah, that's a huge challenge again.
Now, in terms of how you journeyed through the process of, you know, shifting your mindset, finding your purpose, what was the kindest thing that anyone ever did for you when you're going through that journey?
I think I just had always a lot of support from family and a lot of help. And I think because I've always been very open and very eager to learn, it's just I feel like I've been very supportive, even from people that haven't known me very well. For example, when I went to India, I didn't know anyone. I went by myself south of India about 3 or 4 years ago, not knowing what's going to happen. And I met, honestly, such kind people that welcomed me into their home and showed me around and opened the whole, you know, spiritual world for me, together with yoga and meditation, which I love. And I just keep on the value of all of that and what it does to your soul, not only to your body, but to your soul, was just enormous. I'm so forever so grateful for that.
Amazing.
So to experience that.
So did you have a passion for yoga and meditation before you went to India?
Yes, I've always done yoga. I started yoga when I was at the age of 24, and a little bit of meditation. But I think I always saw yoga as something, you know, a body conscious thing. Again, from the outside, you know, get more flexibility, get fitter, because therefore you look better. But as I'm now getting older, I know there's just so much more to it. There's so much more. Taking time for yourself and spending it with yourself. And that's another thing the Indians do really well, especially the area that I traveled to in the south of India. They're calm, they're quiet, they're not so rushed. They've got time to sit down with you and talk to you. And time is just such the biggest gift. And I appreciate that more and more as I get older, and the importance of looking after ourselves. And it doesn't mean, you know, going shopping yeah, that's fine too, and spending a lot of money, but just taking 20 minutes per day, just have your eyes closed, breathe, think, reflect. That's just, for me, such luxury, and it's so true, and it feels so good. Re-energizes you and revitalizes you, and that becomes more and more important. And I think, especially as women, we tend to give all the time. We give, give, give. It's so much more important to receive. And the older we're getting, it's just essential to do. And I think, see so many older women, and I train them, and they're still so stressed and rushed, and there's so much, going on, that I think, oh God, just slow down a little bit. I know we all still have responsibilities. I know we can all still can't retire at 50. I know that some of us can, but not many. But just a little bit easier. Take it easy. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'll just share with the audience. Karen and I were supposed to record this a couple of days ago, and I got on and I'm like, okay, I've just done this and this has just happened. She's like, do you want to reschedule? I'm like, yep. I'm gonna accept that gift of rescheduling, because I know I'm mentally going to be in a better space. So I'm grateful for you offering that opportunity to have that breather, and I'm grateful that I accepted it and rescheduled to today. So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about, isn't it? It's like,
absolutely, Belinda. And 10 or 15 years ago, I wouldn't have offered that to you. I wouldn't have thought that. With my Germanic upbringing, and when you schedule a time, and it's discipline and it's structure, and it has to happen no matter what, because you're committed to it. But now, so I've learned that. So, and I just think it's so nice, because now, you're in a better space. It's more relaxed, and it worked for me too. So it's a win-win, and I love that.
Yeah, and I think that's the compassion piece, isn't it, as well? You were talking, that's what it was, when you were talking before about that kindness to yourself and that awareness. Like, there are moments where you found it hard to be in that positive mindset, to build that resilience. Of course, like it's a practice, isn't it, to build that resilience and build up that mindset. So this is where I think that self-compassion piece is so important, to realize that you are going to slip back into victim mode every now and then. You are going to say, why me? Why am I the one who's had this dermatitis when I'm going through menopause? Like,
of course.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and it's okay. You have moments like that. I still get them occasionally. I still feel sometimes, this is all too hard, and it's okay. And it's all right to feel that and say that, but just always think, this is today, tomorrow is a new day. So whatever feels really overwhelming and too much, and kind of just think, tomorrow is a new day. You have a good sleep and you look at it differently. So I've been working a lot with mantras as well, which has helped me an awful lot. So most days, that's what I teach as well. It's an affirmation, it's a mantra for the session. And that's great to be reminded of these sort of things, because we kind of all know them, but it's so important to hear them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really hearing, and we mentioned it in your bio, this purpose, this passion that you have found. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I was in Germany, in Berlin, at the age of 55. It was total lockdown. Everything was closed. Only the essentials were open. And I just kind of thought, what am I going to do with my life, going forward over the next decade and 2 decades? Because it does get harder as we get older, to find the real passion again and change. And I've changed a lot in my life, a lot of different jobs. And I love the challenge. I love the variety. But I wanted to do something, as I say, that I can do over the next decade or two. And I came across facial yoga. And to be honest, when I first came across it, I laughed at it, and I didn't think it was really something that would work. and B, that I really would want to get into too much. But I've been reading a lot about it, and the more I got into it, because it's so much more than doing facial exercises and massage and acupressure points. It's actually so much for the mind, you know, the mindset.
Yeah.
And again, with breath work and affirmation, that I thought, wow, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to teach. This is what I want to train women to take with them, especially as they get older. Apart from that, it actually does tighten and firms your skin.
Amazing.
But naturally over time, if you do it consistently. But it's something, you know, that I can give to women in another 10 years. All I need is my hands and some oil. So it's fantastic, because before that, I thought I might be a body yoga instructor because I love yoga.
Yeah.
But then I thought, yes, that's something. Yin yoga might be an option to teach because it's more gentle on the body. So I found everything that I believe in, that I'm passionate about it, and I love to service. I love to help and support other women. And I can do that because, again, it's with nutrition, it's with lifestyle, skin care, sleep, all of that. It's everything combined. And that's what it's so important. So, yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, really fun. We'll have to get you back in to talk as a practitioner and tell us a little bit more about it. But I'll still get you to put in the comments when we post this, how people can get more information or find you to do the sessions or face yoga with you. Like that, I heard about it years ago, and it does sound really fascinating. And as you say, like if it's taking that moment, not just to, you know, work on the face, but it's actually a moment for yourself. And I'm assuming it's quite a meditative kind of process doing it.
It is. Once you know the exercises and the acupressure points, because I demonstrated, I teach face-to-face via Zoom, and it can be, because I do a lot of it lying down, because I've got shoulders and neck issues, and I found it, you know, when sitting up, of course I teach it like that. But for me personally, when I do it every day, I lie down, because it's easier on my shoulders and on my neck. So yes, and then definitely once you know what you're doing, you can do it. I put lovely music on, lovely candle, lie down and just do it, and set my timer 10 to 15 minutes per day. And it's amazing how that's often all we need to re-energize and rejuvenate.
Yeah, I can imagine. Definitely. Oh, beautiful. So what advice do you have for other women? So we've spoken about this and that connection, you know, with that mental health and menopause. And anyone who has a womb, ovaries, is going to face menopause at some point in their life. So, you know, we've heard that you had quite a unique experience with the dermatitis, but who knows, you know, there might be other women who out there who've had it. But just generally speaking, from your experience with menopause, what advice do you have to other women who are facing it, going through it?
Never give up. It will pass. It will get better. Yes. Get all the help. Go to see different practitioners. I know it's really, really hard work. I would recommend, from my experience, I would definitely go with holistic, homeopathic. I don't think, you know, the general medicine. I would definitely try that first. And if nothing else works, yes, there is the other side, you know, hormone replacement. But yeah, as I say, it just depends. And just don't think because you're going through all that, life has stopped or changed, or you're not attractive or desirable anymore. I mean, as I say, I strongly believe we can shine at any age. It comes from the inside out. I mean, I've seen really old people. They are most amazing, beautiful people. I've seen really young women, you know, they are from the outside incredibly beautiful, but they open their mouth or their facial expression or the way and they're not actually that beautiful. So try to get away from that image we have to look a certain way. I think just be yourself.
Yeah. And that comes down to even how we interact. We've got such a different world now with
Yes.
social media and Instagram. I really encourage people to choose who they follow on Instagram, because
Absolutely.
that's where you have power over that. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Comparisonitis. It's not healthy, is it?
No, I would have never continued teaching face yoga. Honestly, if I would have compared, there's so many young girls, there's so much on YouTube, and it's so much free stuff out there. Honestly, I would have stopped now. It's just, but the way my experience and what I'm passionate, go with your dream, go with your passion. Don't look too much right and left. It's seriously, it's not good. It's not healthy.
That's great advice. I love that. Stay in your lane.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Find your passion, find your purpose.
Go for it.
Yeah. I love it. Was there anything you wanted to share that we didn't cover while we were chatting?
No, I think we said it all, really. As I say, just never give up. Ask for a lot of help. Don't be afraid for asking for help, anything. There isn't such a thing that we are stupid on it, but that was another thing. So we're not, only because we didn't grow up with that, we don't know. It's amazing how understandable people are and how forgiving. So just don't let that stop you. You know, that's another thing I've seen. You know, some people say, oh, I'm old now. What do you mean you're old? I can't learn that. Oh, that's too late. No, it's never too late. Don't make it ever too late. You know, you can do it.
Message. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Well, if you've got any questions for Karen, please pop them in the comments below. We'll be tagging Karen in the post when we share it. But thank you again for sharing your history, your herstory, your wisdom and your advice. We really, really appreciate it, and your passion. Love it.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
I love it.